This is Thriving Chiropractors, where chiropractors supporting chiropractors and talking to chiropractors that are thriving beyond the four walls of their practice.
This is Dr. Austin Cohen with Thriving Chiros, sponsored by Life University Alumni Association. And we're so excited. Season 1, we've gotten a lot of great feedback from, and thank you so much to all of our guests and all the people who've been listening. But what really gets me excited about Season 2 is we are live from LVE. And we've just been getting some really cool chiropractors coming in from all over the world, which is actually really fascinating to say. It's not just now domestic. We are worldwide podcast guests on here. And so I'm excited to share that today's podcast for Season 2, we have Dr. Froese all the way from Traverse City, Michigan. Thanks so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And you are a graduate of Life University too, right?
Yes, sir.
What year did you graduate?
1994.
Wow. And it's cool to have we've had people from 90s to 2000 to 2010 to even recent grads 2023 on this podcast. And so, when you graduate from school, because I graduated in 2009, and the options that we had are very different than the options they have now. And I'm assuming in 94 when you graduated, the options were very limited as far as what you were going to do. And you kind of take us through, the journey of you for a little bit. I want to share I want to have a good conversation with you because we were chatting a little before, and something that, as you were talking, that got really clear to me that obviously you're very passionate about is family values and being clear and intentional in your core values of family. And so that'll be something I think that could really be valued and empowering people as they know their why and who they are. But kind of share with us. So you graduated in 94, and then what happens from there?
Yeah, so we left school. We decided that we were going to travel around the U.S. for a little while before we decided where to end up. We ended up in Boulder after 3 or 4 months, stayed there for 18 months, and then we left Boulder and went to Traverse City, Michigan, where we opened our practice. And we just decided from the get-go that we were going to have a cash practice. We had our son at the time, and we just got there and opened our doors. A lot of things fell in line in a lot of mystical ways, I'll say, to get us there. And when we opened, it was a little surprising because, we left school and we thought all we have to do is open our doors and everyone's going to be lining up. What we didn't know is it took a little bit more work than that. So,
what kind of work did it take?
Yeah, so we went out and we did a lot of spinal screenings, a lot. And it really helps when you have a small child because people are very attracted to that.
Good marketing tool.
Puppy, small child. So that helped a little bit. But we just went out with our, we got a booth, we had our spine, we had our adjusting table, and we just talked and talked and talked, and we learned a lot of lessons about how that works, and that is just how we got going. And we still have some people in our practice from that time.
That was awesome. Yeah, it's funny. So you graduated in 94, I graduated in 09, and we get people on here who have graduated 22 and 23, and when they always ask me when we're offline, they'll ask, what are some things you did or still do to get your practice going? That it holds true today. Spinal screenings, talk, like you just shared, right? I mean, it's just getting out there and talking and being part of your community, right?
Yeah, we literally knew no one in the town that we went except for a couple chiropractors that had graduated the year prior to us. So we really were hitting the streets. We were literally mall, bookstore, wherever, talks in the community, setting up, different things around the community with whatever kind of association would have us. And you just have to do the work.
And from the beginning, was it a profitable practice? I mean, was it a growing practice, or did it take some time to ramp up? Or
it kind of, once we figured out what we were doing and how to communicate and get people to come in, it grew really quick. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had a young son, during this experience. I mean, that's got to be a...
Yeah, so we brought him to the office with us every day. When he was, up until I was 7 months pregnant with his younger brother, and that was 3 years later. So he came to work with us every day.
And were you still practicing and adjusting hands-on to that?
I was not. I ran the office. I had run 2 offices before I went to chiropractic school. So my natural instinct, since I had the baby or child at the time, it was about a little over a year, I decided that would be how we would work it. Like I would work and run the business part, and Dr. Kurt, my husband, would do the adjusting, and afforded me to be able to, I long-term nurse all of our kids. And so that allowed me the flexibility to be able to do that. And then when the second one was coming was when I started staying on with the kids. And something that I chose.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, you're going to stick with... I wanted to stay home with the kids. We're very, like you said, we're very big on our family and our family values. And we wanted to grow children who knew the value of parents and having time with their parents. And it was natural for me to stay home with them, being a mom, and so that's what I chose to do for a long time. So.
And then right now, is your son, like, he's got to be a chiropractor by now, right?
Oh, he's not a chiropractor.
I grew up there going to screenings.
He's not, but I will say, we have 4 children, and one of them is a chiropractor. All 3 of them look at life through a chiropractic lens. And we used to joke with them when they were young. They'd say, well, you can do anything you want after you go to chiropractic school. Yeah. So, but one day, but they all look at life, and the things that they do, it comes through a chiropractic lens. And it's interesting to hear them because if you ask them, they don't realize that they got the chiropractic values and lifestyle in their upbringing, but they don't realize it because it's part of their being.
So crazy. I'm like sitting here thinking, like sitting in front of a place, like some business, doing this final screening, and your child is sitting there like in a stroller, and all they're hearing is this like constant communication of like the chiropractic lifestyle, the chiropractic experience, and that's all this like being like through osmosis, like what they're getting is that language. I mean, it's got to be. Yeah, and so when you say the chiropractic lifestyle, like what does that mean to you? Like they embody the chiropractic lifestyle. Like what does that mean?
They think, breathe, and act from the inside out.
What does he do?
The oldest one is a hockey coach, general manager at a CrossFit gym, and he coaches CrossFit as well. And he does private training.
What's his Fran time? No, I'm just kidding. What's his Fran time? I'm just joking. It's like CrossFit workout that like everybody
I don't know what that is.
Navigates through. And so you guys are going through this journey of you're in the practice, helping out. So it sounds like from like doing the business development side of it. Your husband's doing the clinical side of it. How long does this last for? Do you keep doing this? At some point, do you jump back in and maybe go clinician side? Do you guys open a second practice? Like, what is the...
Yeah, so we actually practiced out of the 750 square foot building for 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great overhead.
We had great overhead. It was amazing. We had a really big parking lot, and we do open adjusting rooms so we could see more than just we had more than just one room or whatnot at the time. After actually, this is kind of funny. For about 6 years, Dr. Kurt was in the office by himself, and he would say, "You need to leave payment today," and they would leave cash or check on the desk. We didn't have a credit card machine. We didn't have a computer, and they would schedule their appointments on an open appointment scheduling book and just write their name in when they were coming in. And then we realized by getting caller ID, we were missing a lot of calls, and we said, "Well, to get some staff," and so got a great staff person, and then ever since then, we've had some better.
What's kind of give us like a journey? Was there ever like a time that you can think about where you're like, this was a difficult, like did ever get times where over 30 years, like there was a moment like it got hard? Like was there ever like a hard moment? Like for example, like we've had people on this podcast who's like, they went through hurricanes who like wiped out their clinics. We've had people that had floods. We've got people that their office managers stealing from them. Just like people have been through some really difficult stuff. Did you ever have to go through anything like that, or it's been pretty seamless throughout? It's
been pretty steady. I mean, you have your ups and downs in practice as far as like growth and whatnot. For us, I think I hear those stories from people, and I think, wow, like we've been pretty blessed. I can't think of a time that that we were challenged beyond our capacity that was like, oh God, Yeah. We just kind of have just been zoop, and we were talking before, and I said the last 5 years we've had exponential growth. We bought a building, and it wasn't that other place that we weren't doing well, but I think our practice members, our patients, were so proud that we have this beautiful building now, and that we've come so far, especially the ones that have been with us, for quite some time, which we have a really high retention rate. They're just really proud, and they it seems like the referrals have just been going like crazy, almost like we sometimes have to wait for 2-3 weeks, a month to get in.
And everyone, the question you haven't answered yet is, how big was the building? Like, how many square feet do you have now?
Okay, so we have now in the area that we have to use is about 1,100 square feet. And then we have an apartment upstairs, and then we have 900 square feet that we can use personally in the basement. So we have an office, a workout room, infrared sauna, and a shower down there for ourselves. So
wow.
I think it's brought us more. It's either brought more of us into the practice because we can do the things at the office that maybe we're doing at home or whatever, but we can do them there too, and it just brings the energy level up.
What do you attribute not having your things that have been said for 30 years, which is rare, right? A lot of people go through some tough stuff, and do you attribute it to luck? Do you attribute it to maybe just smart decisions? Do you attribute it to maybe just staying comfortable a little bit? We don't make crazy decisions.
No, we're pretty crazy.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I would assume. Exactly.
We're chiropractors. I think that we just. We're a really good team, and it's not that we haven't been without challenges. It's just that the challenges, to me, when I think about them, there hasn't been anything that's it took me out. You have. I think that in a way, the pandemic time it was really challenging, but we approached it in a non-fear way, and we didn't follow some of the rules that were being said. I mean, we could practice, which in Michigan you could, but we didn't wear masks, so we didn't change anything really about our practice, and we held the space for people to come in. And the most interesting part about that whole time for us was that our population of our Medicare age people grew.
Wow.
And that was a time when a lot of people were staying home, and a lot of those people that were coming in were saying, we're coming in here because it feels normal. And so I think approaching it that way, yes, that was a really challenging time because you didn't know for day to day what was going to happen, but we just stayed the course. And I think that our whole existence in practice has been, we're going to stay the course.
One thing I gathered from you in our very, very short time of knowing each other is that, people who are, I can just tell, people who are similar to you, is I think the reason why they're attracted to people like you is because you don't care about being liked. You want to be liked, but to you, you're very authentic and real. And that is very, obviously, an attractable personality to have that. Where young docs, when they first graduate, all they care about is being liked by everybody, and they tell patients what they think they want to hear, and where you probably still have people the truth, and whether they want to hear it or not, it's just how it is. Which I think is great, and I wish there was more of that in this profession of just real and raw and authentic, and it doesn't have to be in your face raw and authentic. It's just who you are, it's your character, and obviously that ties in, of course, a lot of your family core values too as well. If I were to look at your this is my question I always ask all my future employees, by the way. If I were to open up your phone right now, look at your Safari, or go on your computer right now and pull up the browser tabs on your computer, what are some things I would find?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, we're going to find my chiropractic schedule. So I was just looking at that. This is interesting. Okay. So you would find 3 areas of videos from when I've done rowing camps.
Rowing camps?
I'm a scholar. So you would find those, and you would find my mother-in-law and my father's obituaries, and you might find some shopping. Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah.
You always learn so much about a person, by the way, that's this question.
That's a really good question.
You learn a ton about this. All right, this is always my last question I like to ask, by the way, is if Dr. Laura of like 2004 was on the opposite side of the stage from the 1994 Dr. Laura graduating from chiropractic school, what would the 2024 version share with the 1994 version of maybe words of wisdom or some advice or maybe something she would have done differently, or like what would she share with that version?
Yeah. It's going to be more work than you think, but it's going to be more rewarding.
I didn't even prepare you for that question, and you just nailed that. Well, oh my gosh! So much in my wow, that ties back once again, raw, authentic, man. You're the best. And if like students ever want to come shout at you, are you guys open ever to students coming by? What's the name of your practice?
Yeah, Lighthouse Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Lighthouse Chiropractic and Wellness Center. We'll put the website in the show notes. Is that cool deal?
Cool. Yeah,
awesome. Dr. Laura, thank you so much for doing this today. Thanks. And this is season 2 of Live from LVE with Dr. Laura Froese.